My name is Ian Gust and I'm a medical virologist who's been fortunate enough to work both at the basic end of science and its application to the prevention of disease in man. I became interested in hepatitis when I was a resident medical officer at the Infectious Diseases Hospital in Melbourne, and viral hepatitis was by far the commonest in disease at that time, and the causative agent had not been identified. Without a doubt, the most exciting moment was that early Sunday morning at NIH when I looked down the microscope and recognised that we'd isolated hepatitis A virus in cell culture and therefore had the potential to make a vaccine. The only problem was that the laboratory was empty and there was nobody to share the news with. It was far too early to wake up my wife and children to tell them. The first cases of AIDS occurred in the United States in 1981. We became aware of it in Australia as a potential issue about 1983, and I became involved right from the beginning. A major contribution was probably the rapid introduction of screening tests for HIV in the blood transfusion service and its simultaneous introduction into public health laboratories where we could screen out the worried well. I joined the Commonwealth Serial Laboratories early in 1990. The major challenge was identifying areas in which the organisation could be internationally competitive, focusing the resources of the organisation so that it had a chance of delivering products that would meet unmet medical needs. I'm immensely proud of what CSL has become and the small part that I played in setting a platform for the research activities which have borne such great fruit in recent years. I think the distinguishing feature of the medical and research community in Melbourne, apart from everywhere else that I've worked, is its high level of collegiality. It's very easy to get things done in Melbourne, much more difficult elsewhere. My advice to a young biomedical researcher today who is interested in a career would to treat it like surfing. Get out in front of the wave. When you see a decent wave coming toward you, swim like hell and try and catch it all the way to the shore. Good evening. I apologise for not being able to join you, and I'm both humbled and thrilled by the award, as Peter is a hero of mine and somebody who's made an enormous contribution to the sector. I've had a very fortunate life. I'm lucky to have parents who escaped Europe just before the Second World War consumed most of their families. I'm lucky to have had a free education in excellent state schools, and I'm lucky to have joined a relatively uncluttered field just as it was about to be transformed by modern technology. Lucky to have mentors who were prepared to take a chance on me in roles for which I was not fully prepared. Lucky to work in an infectious diseases hospital that had provided rich opportunities for research in a very supportive environment. And lucky to be involved in a field when the tools became available to understand and eventually control diseases like hepatitis and AIDS. I was lucky to develop a close association with WHO and to work with that organisation to extend the benefits of immunisation and to influence global public health policy. I was lucky that Dick Pratt remembered that we'd briefly played football together and helped me raise the funds necessary to found the Burnett Institute. The David Pennington supported my suggestion as to how we might secure the blood supply against the risk of transmission of HIV, and that Brian McNamee was prepared to take a gamble on an untried academic with no experience in product development to try and revitalise CSL's R&D division. I'm lucky to have lived long enough to see some of the diseases that I've worked on brought under control, and in the case of hepatitis A, virtually eliminated. And I'm particularly lucky to be able to work on long after the traditional age of retirement in a field that I enjoy, and to continue to use my contacts and knowledge to the benefit of both the University of Melbourne and Biomedical Research Victoria. My greatest fortune, however, is still to be with Di, who sat beside me in medical school some 54 years ago, in addition to being my best friend and sternest critic. and establishing her own career in obstetric ultrasound, is the mother of our 5 children and the grandmother of our 10 grandchildren, but still spins and knits, makes furniture, repairs the plumbing, does our finances and kicks the football in the park. It doesn't get much better than that. Thank you again. Enjoy the evening and drive safely.